Okay, enough of that witty banter. Let's continue. I don't want to talk about Jacques Derrida. I don't want to talk about. Oh, let's talk about Jacques Derrida. Okay, who is Jacques Derrida? Well, he's a Frenchman with a name like Derrida and Jacques, and he was what's known as a literary critic. Now, it wasn't like he was reading books and like reviewing the book and say, "I didn't like this book." That's not what literary criticism is, but that's what you think it is because, someone criticizes you. It's usually, you know, I don't like your hairdo and I don't like your hat and, you know, you've been putting on too much weight. You got to stop eating chocolate bars. That's criticism. Literary criticism is, well, it depends upon the critic, but generally speaking, they're not looking to, I don't know. I'm not an English major. Maybe I'm incorrect. I'm not going to go there what it means. You can Google it and look up literary criticism. But Jacques Derrida was famous for his theory of deconstruction. And I'm no English major, so I'm only broaching the subject so that you've got something new to go and look it up on the internet. Or, get yourself a book on Derrida from my library or something. Okay, this is Derrida for beginners. And I'm going to do a random page. Okay, instead of sharing with you the random page that I got out of this book, I'm going to tell you the truth. I looked at 2 pages and I came up with what my friend Rumpelstiltskin always tells me: too many words. Why is that? Well, that's the problem with words, is you get lost in the words. There's like, it's like late onset um, learning disability. What's happening? Well, when I was young, I could read huge textbooks. Like this is a huge library book here on the First Nations guy, Tecumseh. It's a great big thick book. Great big thick book. I used to be able to read one of those and bang it out in about 3 days, but no longer because too many words. And so, what do I want to tell you about Derrida? Well, I'm going to tell you the shortcut to Derrida, and this is the Rumpelstiltskin version. Okay, let's take the word Derrida. Now, the first 3 letters are DER, so that sounds like dare. Let's take a dare. I dare you to do it. The next 3 letters are air, like error. Then we have rid, so I need to get rid of it. It's garbage. And maybe that's enough examples. It's basically looking for other words inside of a word. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? I want to talk about another way of looking to find out. Well, why do we do that? It's mostly to find out if there's secret meanings in a word. So there's a dare. Derrida is daring you to look into what he's talking about. Error. What is the error? Well, the error is perhaps looking at things too much on the surface and not looking for the secret meanings. And rid, what do you want to get rid of? Maybe you want to get rid of the error. What's another way that you can look at words and discover their hidden meaning? Have you ever heard of reverse speech? This was very famous in the 1970s because people in the 1970s had record players like this one here. And what people discovered is that if you put the stylus on the record like this, okay, it's on, and then you turn the record backwards manually, and you have your amplifier on, what do we get? It's too difficult. It's too difficult. Um, well, how are they going to do? I guess what they would do is they would turn. I don't know how they did it. This one, because I don't know how they do it. Maybe they took, maybe because these things were driven by belts, maybe you took a belt off of it. So then you could turn it manually backwards and then still have this thing amplified through your amplifier. And anyway, the most famous one of all of listening to a record backwards was Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, because everyone said, whether it was true or not, you could probably look it up on YouTube and maybe someone's got it. But they said if you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, they say something like, um, My Sweet Satan. So everyone thought that Led Zeppelin was a satanic act. Are they or not? Well, that's the hidden meaning in it. Moving on. Now, everyone's got smartphones these days, and I haven't checked into it, but I heard that there might be apps where you can go and record someone talking forward, and the app will have it play it backwards for you. And then what you do is you can probably just go to YouTube and see somebody that's already done it and made a YouTube for you. But listen to like President George Bush. Why? Because we know he's satanic. We know that he was involved with 9/11. We know that he's a massive liar. We know he lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That was the pretext for starting that huge war. So we know he's a liar. So he's a really good one, because you know if you listen to him backwards, you should hear something. Why is that? It's just what people have found. It's just what they found is that people, if they won't tell you the truth, speaking forward language, like what I'm talking to you now, if you play it backwards, quite often you'll find out what the truth is, what the truthful meaning is. I don't know if it's a cosmic law or whatever. I'm just pointing it out. What other dirty secrets do we want to get into? I always love the Vatican, the Roman Catholic Church, because they're so pious at church. Pious is a religious term for someone who's very devout. In other words, they go to church all the time, and, they follow all the Catholic doctrines. But, the truth comes out about the Vatican, and it was in one of the British tabloids, and they said that the priests were going outside of the Vatican wall. Vatican is right in the middle of Rome. So they go out of the little enclave city, and they go pick up Italian teenage boys, and they bring them back into Vatican, and then they dole out lines of cocaine, and then they have gay sex parties with rent boys. That's what they call them. Underage boys, but boys that you give free drugs to so that you can. Anyway, well, if you don't understand, it's because the Roman Catholic Church condemns homosexuality, and the priests go do it. So, I'm sorry if everyone knows this, don't they? People still go to the Catholic Church, though. It's brainwashing. It's just brainwashing, and, they write them a check. Vatican has got billions of dollars, all kinds of problems with the world, and this church has got so many billions of dollars in the Vatican bank, but they're not doing anything like to resolve homelessness. Why not? Because they're corrupt. This most corrupt organization on the planet is the Catholic Church. Well, I don't want to talk about everything else that's corrupt, because it's a pretty corrupted world altogether. Governments, politicians, corporations. I'm sorry you incarnated on planet hell, but It's also known as the Matrix.